Hello, and welcome to the parent info session for the 2 and 3 week session of Catalina Sea Camp.
Yes, thank you all for tuning in. It's 2:01 on the dot. We don't want to waste any more of your time, but we want to talk all about the things that are important for you to know, sending your kid to our 2-week program and our 3-week program. My name's Jackie. I am the summer camp director for the 2-week program. If you are sending your kids to the 2-week Sea Camp program, I'm your director. They will be at Fox Landing, which is not the photo in the PowerPoint that you're going to see, and that's okay. There will be other photos, but they will be at Fox Landing for the 2-week with myself.
And if you are sending your kid to session 1, 2, or 3 of the 3-week session, your kids will be at the lovely picture on the slideshow. With me, my name is Sydney Hamilton, and I am the summer camp director for Toyon Bay. So
yeah. Well, are you on the first slide, Pat? Okay, so this first slide, we just want to show this because if you're watching, we're assuming that you're sending a kiddo to one of these sessions, okay? These are the dates: 3-week session 1, 3-week session 2, through 2-week session 1, and 3-week session 3. Okay, so hopefully this is what you're signed up for. So let's kind of move through. Sid, do you want to take the first one, or do you want me to take this?
Go for it.
Okie dokie. So if you're new here, welcome. We're very excited for you to be a part of this awesome organization. The name of our organization, our company, is called Guided Discoveries. We are a nonprofit or outdoor ed summer camp organization here in Southern California. We have several facilities, 2 on the island, Fox Landing and Toyon Bay, which is what we're going to be talking about today. We also have Astro Camp, which is up in Idlewild, up in the mountains of Idlewild. Up in Astro Camp, we have an outdoor ed school year program, a summer camp program, and we also just started last year Camp CHOP, which stands for Culinary Hands-On Program. Culinary Hands-On Program. So that's also up at Astro Camp. And then CME is our Catalina Island Marine Institute. That's our school year outdoor ed program out on the island. And then Catalina Sea Camp is the summer gig, okay? So the mission for Guided Discoveries is that we want to make a difference in the lives of children through guiding them through unique opportunities of discovery. Everything we do is for the kids. We just want to get out there, have fun, give them an opportunity to be kids, and learn about the ocean, or learn about astronomy, or learn about cooking. Let's jump over. Pat, what do we got here? This next slide's got some cool QR codes on here for you. These are for 2 weeks. So if you're sending your kid to a 2-week program, we got our 2-week parent guide, which you can also find in the forms and documents section of your parent portal. We have our 2-week activity guide, which you can also find on the forms and documents section of your parent portal. And then our link to the Companion app. We're going to talk about the Companion app through this. So if you're like, what? This will also be on YouTube for you to pause and go back through. If you're like, I can't cut all these right now, totally fine. They're going to be available for you on the YouTube channel. And then the next slide is the 3-week ones.
And as we go, just make sure you're listening, as we're going to talk a little bit about the 2-week here, a little bit about the 3-week there. So just pay attention to most of that. But here we have the 3-week parent guide, the activity guide, and the Companion app as well. Please make sure you are reading, like actually reading, the parent guide as well as the activity guide. And we'll talk a little bit more about it, I believe, later. But please, when you're reading through the activity guide, do it with your camper.
Yeah.
Have them read it with you. Don't just go picking their classes for them willy-nilly. Have them go through and choose the things that sound most interesting to them when you're filling out that activity preferences, which you can also find in your forms and documents on CampMinder.
Yes, really, honestly, the biggest difference between the 2-week and 3-week is the time frame, right? One is 2 weeks long, one is 3 weeks long. The 3-week is at Toyon Bay, so it is a different facility, and the 2-week is at Fox Landing, so 2 different facilities. So our activity guides are different, okay? Yes. I don't want you to think that the activity guide is going to be the same. We have very different classes. They're similar in the sense that they're outdoor summer ocean adventure, but the way that we name our classes, they're different. Okay, so if you're sending a kid to the 2-week and a kid to the 3-week, make sure that they're looking at the right activity guide, because I would hate for a camper going to the 3-week to see that there's advanced fishing and not be able to sign up for fishing, because that's something that we only do at the 2-week program.
Yes.
So please keep those things in mind when you are going through. But for the most part, the 3-week parent guide is pretty similar. It's just different dates because they're different dates, and I think the schedules are a little different. But otherwise, keep that in mind when you're going through all of these. Next slide, Pat. Okay, so we want you to kind of get to know there's not just Sid and I are year-round people working on these programs, helping getting this all started for your kids. Jackie, I'm the summer camp director over at Fox, and then we have Heather Peterson, who's my co-director. She's our program director. She lives year-round at Fox Landing. Her front yard is beautiful, Fox Bay. She helps us hire instructors. She's one of our captains. She drives all our boats. She's a really, really big part of the facility dynamic and program space. So her and I work together while we're in camp, but I'm going to be your main contact. You're going to be chatting with me most of the time.
Cool. And next slide, you can see our Toyon directors. So we have a few more directors out at Toyon. So again, there's me, the summer camp director, Sydney Hamilton, and then we have 3 different program directors. So Zach Dalby there in his wetsuit is our dive program director. So if you have questions about dive paperwork or about specific dive classes or certifications, things like that, Zach Dalby will be your point of contact. The next person there, we have John Swanick, and at camp, he is known as Dr. Doom because he is our sail director, and our yachties, if your kids come home talking about some random lady named Sprinkler and some man named Big Toe, don't be worried. Those are their sail names. They are our yachties. So Dr. Doom is our sail director. And then lastly on that slide, we have Britt Swanick. She is our program director year-round in Toyon, so very similar to Heather over at Fox. But during this summer, she switches over to be in charge of our science and adventure programming. So she is in charge of all of those challenge adventure classes as well as marine biology courses as well.
And if you want to talk to the dive director, for example, Zach, all of their emails and information are on our websites. You can find all of those there. Also in the parent guide and activity guide for the 3-week program, you can find all of their information. That's another difference between the 2-week and the 3-week. 2-weekers, we are not scuba diving. 3-weekers, they are scuba diving. We are sailing though. Don't get it twisted, okay? We're still sailing at the 2-week program. But yeah, those are our year-round teams. Our staff, I can kind of touch a little bit on this. So you just met those are the directors. Those are the people that work year-round that oversee and hire all of the staffs. But we have a lot of moving parts at our facilities. Our kitchen staff is fabulous. They make up to 900 meals a day sometimes. They are working around the clock. We're going to talk about the kitchen and food a little bit. They are very accommodating. Our maintenance staff, they are in charge of the maintenance of the facility. They're cleaning the bathrooms multiple times a day. They're making sure that everything is safe, that everything's in code. They're helping with boats. They're helping to really do all of the behind the scenes that Sydney and I don't want to do because we'd rather be dressed in tutus dancing around. And then we have our dive staff. So there is a very specific staff for diving at the 3-week program because your campers are getting certified. They are going on really awesome dives. So we have NAUI certified instructors and dive masters who are there trained, diving with them, going through all of that fun, awesome diving process. Our sales staff, there's a sales staff at Toyon as well. At the 2-week program, everybody sails. We all sail together. And then Science and Adventure is like our instructors who run our labs. If your camper's really excited about Shark Lab, Fish Lab, maybe land photo, maybe any of the interior classes where they get to learn about the environment of Catalina Island. Those are that staff. And then our cabin counseling, our counseling staff. Those are the people that are in the cabins, in the dorms with your kids. They are with them 24/7. They're putting them to bed. They're waking them up. They're eating every meal with them. They're their go-to, their mentors, big brother, big sister vibes. Did I hit it? Anything you wanna add?
Yeah, all of our staff are trained. They are people that we are doing background checks on,
Yes.
drug tests on. We have had multiple interviews with them. So they are all amazing individuals who are there and ready to take care of your kids.
Fingerprint, they go through multiple trainings before we get them, and then we do 2 full weeks of training with them before any kid arrives in camp. And we get a lot of returning staff too. I think that's something that's really special about the staff at our programs is they are people that come back year after year. And if your camper is going to be returning, hopefully they're one of their favorite staff members is there.
Yep.
All right, Pat. Move on to the next. You want this one?
Sure, I can take this one. So one thing about Catalina Sea Camp is we have a motto that we tell pretty much anyone that we possibly can. Anyone who gets on one of those big red and white boats knows that our Catalina Sea Camp motto is that every word and every action must be true, kind, and necessary. It can't just be 2 of the 3, it has to be all 3 all the time. So we just like to say that to make sure that we're letting our kids know that this is not a place that we allow bullying. This is not a place that we allow people to make fun of others. And we want to make sure that the experience for our kids is the best it possibly can be. Alongside of that, we have our Sea Camp logo for this year, or our graphic for this year. So Jackie and I have decided that we wanted it to be a lovely flying fish, which is something that you can see on the island. And so we thought we would put that out there if you're looking for a Catalina Sea Camp staff member during check-in day, departure day, any of those types of things. Look for a shirt with this logo on the back. If they're wearing a sweatshirt, it'll have this giant thing that says staff on the side, and on the front as well. But they will be brightly-ish colored, and we won't tell you what color they are. You'll have to find out later. But that is a little bit about our motto and our graphic for this summer.
One thing that we touch on too during guidelines with campers about our true kind and necessary motto is we let kids know that if they are not being nice, if they are not following the rules, if they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing to be a successful teammate in camp, we will send them home. We have a 2 strikes, you're out policy. It's a no bullying tolerance policy. The first offense is an immediate call home. We'll call home and let all parents, parties know what happened. There will be something called a camper contract where we will sit down with the camper, we'll let guardians know and the counselor, and we'll talk about the things that are really important for them to do in camp to stay in camp. And all of those things include being true and kind and necessary with all their words and actions. And if they break that camper contract, we send them home. And we let them know this very early on. And I also believe that there is something that they have to sign in the forms and documents section. So please just talk to your kids about that. Let them know, that we're all here to have fun and make friends. That's the main goal. Agenda. Okay, we'll just go through this real quick. We're going to be talking about preparing for camp. We're going to talk a little bit about what happens in camp, a little bit on health and wellness, and then if we have some time after, Crystal and George are on the side here. They are fielding all of your questions in the chat. If there's any question that they maybe don't hit or they would rather us say, they will write it down, and we're going to answer in live some of these chat questions. So if there's something where you're like, this is for Jackie and Sydney, they'll save it and we'll answer it afterwards, okay? All right, Pat, move us down to preparing for camp.
Cool. So we're just going to start talking about some things that you need to do in order to prepare your camper for camp. So again, we've already kind of talked about the parent guide and the activity guide. Where you find both of those on CampMinder is the exact same place that you will find that packing list. It's also in your parent guide, as well as just some other important information that we will talk a little bit about here. So we can move to the next slide. Do you want to take the 2-week one?
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who are tuning in, whether you are new, but if you are a returning family, I want you to turn your ears on,
Now.
okay? Right now, listen up, all right? Things are changing, all right? We're moving things around here. We're going to talk a little bit about getting to and from camp, and things are not what they used to be, all right? We are doing a pickup on Sunday, so you will be dropping your kids off on Sunday at a location that we're going to talk about in a minute here, between 11 and 1. Okay, so that means you can arrive anytime between 11 and 1. Please don't arrive at 10:30. Please don't arrive at 10:15. Honestly, please don't arrive at 10:45. Okay, because we are still setting up. We're still getting everything together. We like to have powwows with our staff. There's just a lot of moving parts that day. So please show up. If you're going to show up on time, show up, at 11. You're definitely welcome to hang out with your kid there if you want. There's going to be a check-in table where you'll meet me. Your camper will get their name tag. They'll find out their cabin, their counselor. You'll get to meet the nurse and our EMT. If there's medications, you'll hand that in. We're going to have a taco truck if you want us to give them lunch. And there'll be places to hang and do arts and crafts and chill if you get there early, because the boat won't leave till probably 1:30. But we'll board the boat at 1. So please get there between those times. If you're running late, if you are in traffic, if something is happening and you're like, give us a call, okay? I will be sending you emails right before camp. I'll be calling you right before camp. You'll get all this information. So just communicate with me and us, and we will make sure that if we have to hold the boat for a couple minutes, okay. If not, we'll work on getting them through the Cat Express, and we'll pick them up in Avalon. In Avalon. On Friday is when we drop kids off. We will be coming back to the same location that you get them on the boat. We will also be getting them off the boat at the same location, 12 noon. Noon is when we arrive. Please get there at 11:30. This is a great time to get there before the time. So if we get there at 12, please be there by 11:30. There's lots of parking. There'll be signs. You got to check them out anyways. Yes, airport. I guess airport. Do you have a slide in there on airport?
No, but I can.
You'll talk about it anyway.
I can talk a little bit more.
Okay, so you'll talk about airport because our airport situations are the same. Unique, I'll hit unique drop off and pick up for both of us. If you are going to the 2-week or the 3-week, your camper, and maybe you are going to be on a boat. Maybe your family has a boat and you're going to be traveling up and down the coast. If you're going to be in Avalon and you're like, I don't know if we're going to make it to Long Beach to get on the kids' boat, that's okay. There is an additional fee. It's an extra charge, but we can work with you to get any type of special accommodations that you might need for boating.
Yeah. And 3-week parents, things are similar to the 2-week, but please listen carefully as some of it is a little bit different for us. So if you are sending your kid to the first session, so June 8th to June 27th, or the third session, July 20th to August 8th, please, your check-in time is going to be from noon to 2 p.m. So again, just like Jackie said, please don't show up at 11:45. We're trying our best to get everything set up, but we will be packing the boat and hopefully leaving by that 2 p.m. mark. But if you are sending your camper to the second session of our 3-week program, so June 29th to July 8th, it's a little bit different for you guys because the 2-week also starts on the same day. We are meeting from 1 to 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So really strongly, please do not come early, especially if you're dropping your kids off for second session, as there will be a mass chaos of 2-week parents leaving as we are arriving. When it comes to airport, they would be coming into LAX, and please make sure that your airport time is within our windows that are on our parent guide. So please make sure that they are arriving and departing within those times. If you are struggling to find a flight within those times, please reach out to our registrar, Crystal, and she can try to work with you. But again, that will probably end up with a charge similar to what Jackie was saying about unique pickup and drop-offs. But when it comes to airport, we will have staff members in their Catalina Sea Camp shirts with clipboards and IDs and everything coming to pick your kids up from the gate.
Yeah.
So if your child is an unaccompanied minor, please make sure that you fill out all of the unaccompanied minor paperwork on the website for the airline, as well as giving that paperwork to us in their travel forms. So please make sure you're giving us all of their flight information so that we have someone coming to pick them up when they get to camp and have someone dropping them off. So for airport, and then they get picked up, they get onto a lovely shuttle, and they get brought down to Long Beach to get on the bus with all of the rest of our campers. On that bus, there are staff members and everything, so no need to worry about any of that. But if you have more questions about the airport process, again, either email one of us or Crystal, our registrar. I know it can get confusing, so please feel free to reach out.
Real quick, I just want to touch one more for those of you that maybe zoned out, because sometimes I zone out. Sydney brought up a very important piece of information about arrival day, the day that you drop your kid off. If you are going to the second 3-week or the 2-week,
yes,
we are leaving from the terminal the same day.
The same day.
The same day.
Like an hour apart.
And that doesn't happen. So normally, like Fox Landing, we are kind of doing our own things on our own days, and then Toyon does their things on their days, but we overlap this year. So this particular Sunday, what is it, June 29th?
Yes.
I think it's June 29th. It's when the 2
It
weeks
is
starts.
June 29th.
June 29th, Sunday, June 29th. So if you're a 2-week parent and you're sending your kid to the 2-week, please, like, drop them off and maybe like skedaddle before before it hits 1 o'clock, so that those 2-week families can start coming in. If you're a 3-week parent, please, you know what, maybe come at like 1:15 or like 1:30. Honestly, like you could come at 1. They're gonna be there. We're all gonna be there. They're gonna be setting up, but we're gonna be like getting those 2-weekers out, and then we'll start the process of getting those 3-weekers in. And I just would hate for a bunch of 3-weekers to show up and be like, oh, this is my camper. And we're like, we don't have any of your files here right now. We don't have any of your stuff. You're going to have to wait. So please just keep that in mind. This will be up on YouTube for you to go back and look at if you want to hear me say this again, or just call us and we can help you out.
And for all parents new and returning, please keep your ears on, because there is some very important information coming at you.
Yes.
If you have been with us before, you used to drop your kids off at the Queen Mary in Long Beach. That is no longer where we are dropping off our kids.
0 red X.
That is the red X on here. We are now dropping kids off at Pier D in Long Beach. So that address, again, is in your parent guide because you're obviously reading that. But there is also a QR code right next to this map right here. If you want to scan it with your phone, please do so now. And so you can save it to your Google Maps, you can save it to your Apple Maps, and just write like, this is where I'm dropping off my kid for summer camp, whatever you would like. But this is really important because it is different than what it has looked like before, but it is also a bit of a funky spot to drop off kids.
I like it more. It's more, in my opinion, there's more space.
Oh, yeah.
It's just us.
It's just us.
Like, there's nobody else there. When we were at the Queen Mary, we were dealing with concerts. We were dealing with people going to the Queen Mary. We were dealing with a lot of stuff. But this is our own personal space, our own personal parking. We're going to have a taco truck for you to get lunch, get tacos if you're hungry. You get there early. There's going to be games. We're going to make it a fun space. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that this is just repeated until it happens.
Yes.
The next wait for the next one, Patrick. Hold on, go back. I want to give them a point of reference. I want to give you guys a point of reference because the next one's a little bit confusing, but I do think it's another good visual. So if you look at this screen right here, you see the green circle, okay? Now you see to the right, it says Berth 55 Fish Market and Seafood Deli. Now if you move to the next slide, Pat, you can see that little deli is at the bottom where the little fork is, the orange circle. And this red line is to show you that the off-ramp is a loop-de-loop. and it will look like you're driving into an industrial boatyard.
Yes.
Okay.
If you see a lot of trucks with big shipping containers, you're in the right place.
If you're driving underneath that massive bridge and you're like, where am I? You're probably in the right spot.
Yes.
So this is just another visual. If you're going on the 710 South, take that exit 1B for Pico. You don't want to get on the bridge. You want to get off before you go on the bridge.
Yep. Some other things on here.
Yeah.
I use Waze. That is how I get to the office every day because I am directionally challenged and I still don't know how to get here. So I use Waze every morning, but please do not use Waze. It won't really bring you to the right place. If you put it in Apple Maps or Google Maps or scan this QR code, it'll get you there. If you also still don't think you're going in the right direction, look for one of those things that are outside of the car wash. Those
yeah, we got one of those big like guys that like blows up and like goes like this, and he's in a scuba outfit.
Yeah,
Should
and
be
so
easy.
if you see a giant scuba diver waving at you,
And us.
if you hear music, you'll see staff members lining the street.
We're gonna be all over the place.
We're gonna be hard to miss. But that is another point of reference. If you see him in the sky, drive towards him so that you can find our check-in.
Yeah.
We have a few more things about traveling to and from camp. Jackie mentioned this already it's on our next slide. But if you would like, please feed your camper. Actually, no, not if you would like. You have to feed your camper.
Please feed your kid before they come on the boat.
I know we pick them up at 12 or 1, but they will not be eating in camp until dinner at around 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So whether you want to eat tacos at our taco truck at the check-in, that's great, that's dandy. But if not, please make sure they are fed or even have a little sack lunch in their backpack.
Yeah,
but make sure they know their sack lunch is in their backpack so it's not in there for 3 weeks.
Right. True.
Other things about traveling to and from camp, I am a person who has chronic motion sickness. This red and white boat is not my best friend when it comes to motion sickness. So if your camper is the same, please make sure they are taking Dramamine or Bonine, or what I have found to be the best is there are these things called seasickness watches. If you look that up on the internet or on Amazon, you can find one of those. You put it right here on your wrist and it sends a tiny little shock into your body, tricks you into thinking that you're not on a boat. That's what I use, but Dramamine and Bonine do work. They do just kind of make you a little drowsy, so it's not the best thing, but if you want to avoid being sick, please give your kids that. Other than the tacos, our boat does have a snack shack of sorts on it. It is not run by us, it is run by the boat company, so it is cash only. And the only things kids are really gonna buy from there is like popcorn,
candy, chips,
and
soda.
Yeah, those kinds of things. So it's not necessarily a full lunch. If that's what they're looking for, it'll just be more snacks and candy.
Yeah.
And then the last thing on here is please, not only pack your kids some sunscreen in their bag for camp, but please make sure they have sunscreen on when they get onto our boat. Sometimes they're sitting outside on our lovely decks on the outside to look at the ocean, look for some dolphins, but it is not fun to show up to camp and your first day be a little lobster, super sunburnt. So please make sure they have sunscreen on. And with that being said, when you drop off your campers, another thing we haven't said yet is please, when you hand in your luggage to our staff members, make sure that you have vitamins, prescription meds, and sunscreen, your backpack, whatever you want on the boat with you. Don't give that to the staff members. They're going to start loading the boat for us. So make sure you have all of your meds and your vitamins as well as anything your camper wants for the boat. On their person for check-in.
I always say it's like we're going on a really long whale watching boat ride.
Yes.
So anything that you would pack to go on a 2-hour whale watching boat ride is what you should give them.
A jacket.
Sunscreen, water. Honestly, the amount of campers that get on the boat don't have water bottles. We don't have 200 plus water bottles. They could buy water from the store, but if they don't have cash, I mean, that's been an issue in the past.
Yeah.
So send them with a water bottle, little backpack with what they need, because once their luggage is on the boat, they're not gonna be able to really access it until we get to camp.
Yep.
That's what Sydney was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, next slide, Pat. When we arrive, I'm pretty sure we do the same things.
Yeah.
You want to go?
Sure. So when we arrive and you step onto either the Fox Pier or the Toy On Pier, we do a few things. So one thing we do is our campers are going to have like a lovely little quick tour of camp. So they know where everything is. They know where their cabin is, where the nurse is, where I live. All of that kind of stuff. And then they're going to meet with their cabin group, which they've already been talking to on the boat, and they're going to do what we call cabin guidelines. Cabin guidelines are really important, but it's time for all of them to sit down with their counselor and kind of talk about how the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to go with them as a team. What they think is important and how that is going to go down. And then we have full camp guidelines where myself or Jackie and our leadership teams are talking about what it takes to be successful at camp. Wearing shoes, like wearing sunscreen, drinking water, not bullying, and not doing any of those types of things, and how to remain at camp and be successful at camp. After that, they're eating dinner. Normally in Toy On, we're eating some burgers or pasta or anything like that. And then we have a really lovely campfire where our whole staff, instructors, counselors, everything are putting together some really fun skits for our kids to watch around a campfire. So they're not super like sing-songy types of deals. It's more like let's laugh and hang out and watch all of our staff members and kind of learn some names as well, and
it's
get ready for camp.
It's like an SNL show is what I like to say. We spend a lot of time during our training time, like before kids come to camp, where all the staff get together in groups and they spend days like planning these skits. So, like they're real skits with props and and costumes and everything. So it's like a full-on SNL / Broadway vibe that we put on for the kiddos before they go to sleep on the very first night of camp. Okay, this next slide looks heavy. I'm not going to go into big detail. I just want you to know that this is a good little example of our 2-week schedule. Starting all the way at the left, on the left, it says we're arriving on a Saturday, and we're not. We're arriving on a Sunday. You know what? Actually, don't even look at the schedule. The correct schedule is in your parent guide. I don't want you to get confused with this one because we're not Battle of the Cabins is not happening. There's some things on here if you're a returning 2-weeker. We've added some fun things, okay? So go look to your cabin or go look at your parent guidelines. Go look at your parent guide, and on there's a new 2-week schedule. So let's jump to the 3-week schedule, and Sydney can quickly go through it because it's also very hairy looking.
Yeah, this is a really scary looking slide, but again, this is all in the parent guide. But I just want to point out, if you are a returning 3-weeker, look at it. There's some new things going on this summer. Get excited for some new stuff that we are implementing. If you are a newbie, just get yourself familiar. Look at what you're going to be doing for almost a month while you're hanging out with us. But it all, again, is in your parent guide, so please look through that. There's some descriptions of some of these nights in there as well. If you are looking for maybe if you need a costume or if you want to bring your guitar or anything like that, there is more information about that in the parent guide. For both the 2-week and the 3-week, we do have themed nights. So make sure that you're keeping an eye out for when we send out those themes to you. If you would like to pack a costume, which, I mean, I dress up in full costume every time. I know Jackie does too. So please feel free to bring all those and keep an eye out for that email coming at you soon. And we will move on to packing.
I'm going to talk a little bit about packing for Fox because there are some things that are different. For your campers that are coming to the 2-week program, just know, I mean, I guess for both places, it's cold at night. It's kind of chilly in the morning. It's hot during the day. Yeah. Some of the biggest things is our bathrooms. At Fox Landing, your camper will be exiting their cabin to go to the bathrooms. And some of them are a little bit farther walks than others. Shower shoes, super great. I saw someone use jellies, like they bought their kid jellies, and I thought that was so smart. Jellies for shower shoes, shower caddy, something that they can easily carry with them to their shower. I saw another camper one year it was like an oversized towel romper. Yes. So when they got out of the shower, they just like stepped into this romper and like velcroed it, and it was a towel, and they were able to walk back to the cabin without having to like hold their towel up. So things like that are really, really helpful for the shower situation at Fox.
And to be honest, for the 3-week program, all of those things probably are smart anyways. We don't have a ton of storage in our bathrooms, so a shower caddy is great to keep all of your things, so you can hang it on the side of your bunk bed. Same with shower shoes. I don't know, I sometimes don't like to stand in a shower that I know other people have been in, even though our showers are really clean because our maintenance staff is great. So I wear shower shoes, things like that as well.
Yeah. Our beds, every bed is a twin size bed. Yes. My recommendation, a fitted sheet, a sleeping bag, and a pillow.
Yes.
I've seen campers bring a fitted sheet, like a comforter and a pillow. It's really whatever your camper is going to be the most comfortable in for the 2 weeks and 3 weeks. It's a long time to be sleeping. I say bring what's going to make their bed their bed. I was a kid that needed like my own bed space. I needed my special blanket. I needed a special. So whatever they need to bring it. But it's a twin size bed.
Yes. And with that, like Jackie was saying, if they want to bring, I mean, I still bring my stuffed animal to camp. If they want to bring like their stuffed animal, their blanket, maybe pack them a picture of you or your dog or your cat or anything like that they want to have in their room to make it more of their space. They're living in it for 2 to 3 weeks, and they want to make sure that it's the most comfortable place for them. Another thing is that they are required to have closed-toed shoes for a lot of our activities at both facilities, whether that's archery or hiking or whatnot. So please make sure they have a good pair of closed-toed shoes with them. Another thing for both our 2 week and our 3 weeks is we have a final night celebration. So our last supper, that sounds weird, our last dinner with campers at camp, we do kind of dress up a little bit nicer. We call it island casual, a sundress, or just a clean pair of pants and a nice t-shirt or anything like that, just a little bit more dressed up. We take pictures and we have a really fun, nicer dinner night as well. Please pack your kids some sunscreen. We're out in the sun all day. We do have sunscreen all around camp, but please make sure it is nicer to just have your own, so you can put it on in your cabin before you head out to your snorkeling activity or whatnot. And please, 100%, they need a water bottle. We talked about that in the boat, but please make sure they have a water bottle so they can stay hydrated throughout all of camp. And we already touched on Dancing Carnival.
Prohibited items. Inappropriate clothing. I feel like that can be what's the word, subjective. Really, anything think about your kid's gonna be running around. They're gonna be in harnesses. They're gonna be, going all over camp. Like, it's important that they're wearing clothes that are protecting their body, and that aren't gonna like ride up or go into spaces that might be uncomfortable. So appropriate clothing, we don't allow thong bathing suits. Just gonna say it, all right? Cheeky bathing suits, please just, if you're curious about whether it's appropriate or not, my answer always is, if you have to ask, it's probably not. So just go with a little bit more. I mean, we will ask campers to change out of their bathing suits if it's something that's making people uncomfortable. I mean, there's other kids that are significantly younger than them, so, or honestly, vice versa, you never even know. So it's really important to keep that in mind as you're packing. Card games like Cards Against Humanity, we know it's out there. Just like, we have games, we have arts and crafts, we have things. If you bring something and you're not sure if you should be bringing it or not, if you're even questioning it, the answer's probably no. Just use that as a rule of thumb. Yeah. No weapons, no knives.
The reason knives specifically are on here is for our diving program. Some people ask if they can bring a dive knife. Please don't. They don't need a dive knife. All of our dive professionals have equipment that they can use.
Yes. Fishing gear. If your kid is coming to the 2-week and is taking a fishing class, call me. Okay, we can talk about fishing gear. We've had campers bring like their favorite fishing pole. We do allow that at Fox. So if there's like other things you're curious about, just give me a call, email me, we can figure it out. Technology, phones, we are an unplugged facility, okay? No phones. Please tell your kids no phones. Tell them that when they get on that boat, that is the last time they will get to see their phone, because if they take them on the boat, we will take the phones and put them in a safe while they're in camp. They also don't work. There's no cell service. There really isn't any Wi-Fi. We use special business Wi-Fi because we need it to talk to you guys, but they're not going to be able to use that stuff. If they want to take photos, old disposable cameras, Polaroids. Maybe
cameras.
A digital. Honestly, those are like kind of having a comeback. So,
yeah.
So any
we
of
also
those
have
things
photographers who are.
We have lots of photographers. Even smartwatches. We're not wanting anything that can ding, light up, show any sort of uploaded item, video, photos, things like that. Please avoid. Don't bring to camp. We will take them and put them in a safe place so they don't get stolen, they don't get ruined, and so that your camper can just unplug and have a good time at our camps.
A quick note on technology: if your kid wants to bring like a Kindle or an ebook, that's something that's great as long as it doesn't need internet, or like have them download a bunch of their favorite books before they get to camp. After that, they will not have internet to download books, but they can read on an ebook if that's what they prefer.
Yeah. And then drugs and alcohol, super important. If there is a prescription medication that your camper has and you send that prescription medication to camp, it needs to be in the bottle it came in, and it needs to be locked in the nurse's clinic station. Any medicine, even if it's a vitamin C packet, all of it needs to be there. But for the most part, no drugs or alcohol. That is an immediate send home.
Yes. And we'll move on. Camp store and forms. Please make sure that you are adding funds to your camper's camp store before they arrive. We do not deal with cash at all, so please don't send your campers with cash unless it's like $20 for the boat. Other than that, we don't want them losing their cash, so we do not deal with any money in our store. We recommend around $75 a week. It's kind of up to you. We sell things like crew nets and bucket hats and water bottles and candy and all that kind of stuff. So if your campers are looking to buy any of those things, they'll have time throughout their 2 and 3 weeks to go grab those, but they must have money in their camp store. Please update those transportation forms ASAP. Again, if you are sending your kid through LAX, please make sure that transportation form is on there ASAP. All of your other forms, if you haven't filled them out, you'll probably get some emails from our registrar, Crystal, here soon telling you to please fill them out as soon as you possibly can. And if you have questions, she is here to help you with all of that. More forms is our activity guide. We've already been talking about it, but please make sure you are doing the activity preference with your camper in the forms and documents section. And we can move on from there.
In camp, food. We talked a little bit about our dining hall. We have breakfast, lunch, dinner, lots of snacks opportunities throughout the day. If your kid is vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, pescatarian, what's the other one? Dairy-free, all of the above. We accommodate all of it. Please let us know, though. We need to know these things so that we can tell our kitchen before they arrive. We are a nut-free facility as well. But any type of like severe allergies or things like that, you'll get a phone call. Someone will connect with you just to like check in. If you have a nut allergy, if your camper has a nut allergy or anything like that, we're going to ask that they're coming with an EpiPen as well. So please think about these things as you're filling out the paperwork. And have your kid talk to your camper about advocating for themselves. That's what I want to say. If they're hungry, they can come to us and say, I'm hungry. And we can get them a snack. They're not subject to only eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the meals of the times. We want kids to feel like all of their needs are being met in camp, and we understand that some kids are snackers, some kids are big meal eaters. So just talk to your camper about food in camp and say, look, if you need something, you just go to your counselor and they'll get you something.
Yes. Sure.
Homesickness, a big one, but like not that crazy. A lot of people have homesickness. I would argue 90% of our campers come to camp within the first 24 hours are experiencing homesickness.
Even our 3-week 16 and 17-year-olds experience homesickness.
Yeah, I was a 17-year-old camper at Sea Camp, and I was very homesick my first night. I was kind of freaking out.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's normal. That's healthy. That means they have good attachment with their home life. So what we want you to do is to communicate with them. Talk to them about going to camp, especially if this is their first time doing a sleepaway. You can say something like, hey, one time when I went to sleepaway camp, I got really homesick. And this is how it felt, but this is how I got through it. And kind of starting those conversations now, if it's something you're worried about as a parent, starting them now and using it as like a conversation method gets your kid to just start kind of like, the wheels start turning and it helps them process it a lot better. Yeah. We also train our staff heavily on homesickness. We try to read minds and recognize it before it even happens. We do a lot of role play, a lot of talking it through during staff training. The staff are on it, and we'll call you if anything is out of control or something that seems like that, like it's causing trauma. You know what I mean? We don't want any kid to be like, I hate summer camp. That's not what we want. So whatever we need to do to get you on board, if we're feeling like we need backup, we'll call you.
Yeah. And who do your campers talk to if they need help? We've kind of talked about this a little bit throughout, but we make sure that they know who they should be asking for help. They know their points of contact right when they get there. And their first point of contact is going to be their counselor. Their counselor is the person who is going to end up knowing them the best by the end of camp. They're with them for every meal and everything like that. So they will get to know their counselors, and they can always go and ask them for help. But we also have wonderful leadership teams at both facilities of people who have worked at summer camps for several years at this point, worked with kids for several years. So we have head counselors, assistant camp directors, and then ourselves. And your campers, we're just hoping that they find at least a person at camp that they feel comfortable going to and saying, hey, I'm homesick, or hey, I need a snack, anything like that. They have so many different resources, as well as you guys have so many different resources to reach out to if you would like to talk about your camper. And your guys' first point of contact would be us two, and we can talk to you about your campers and how they're doing, and they can do so as well.
Yeah, someone in the last session, one of their questions was, how often can I reach out and talk to you? And the answer is anytime. I can't promise you I'm going to be in the office all the time. I try really, really hard to get out of the office and go play and hang out. But there will be someone at the phones answering. If you're like, hey, I kind of want to check on my kid, I just want to see how they're doing, oh my gosh, give us a call. That's what we're here for. We're here to communicate with you. And if anything's happening, if they go to the nurse's office with a headache, we'll give you a call. We'll let you know. We keep you guys informed all the time. So anytime you feel like you need to reach out, please just reach out.
Yeah, and that brings us pretty much straight into our next one of, if your camper is sick or hurt, if we notice that a camper has been to the nurse 3 times or 4 times in a day and it's not just for their daily vitamin, we're gonna talk to them or call you. But we do have a licensed nurse or doctor on our facility at all times, as well as an EMT who is on our facility at all times. So they are both there to make sure that your campers are doing okay and are able to help them out with any sort of situation that they're having. I will say that maybe the first time they have a tiny little headache, we might not call you if they get better and they feel great. But those frequent visits, we will call you and make sure that you are informed on what's going on with your camper. There is a hospital facility on Catalina Island, so if anything super serious were to happen, there is EMS and all of those types of things, and obviously you would be 100% informed when any of that were to happen, or if any of that were to
Okay, we're kind of coming to the end here, so we'll round this out. How do parents and campers stay in touch? Because they don't have their phone, so they can't call you and they can't text you and they can't use our phone. Don't tell them that they can call you from our phone. Actually, don't ever tell them that you guys can call on the phone because we're not doing phone calls. This is a good little QR code for you to get right now. The Companion app you need to download on your smartphone, and you use the same login, email, and password as your parent portal login. And through this app, you're going to get to do everything. You're going to get to see all the photos we post of your kids. You're gonna get to see our micro posts. They're like little tweets kind of that we post daily just to kind of post the best photo of the day and tell you what's going on. And this is also where you can send your camper emails. Now, they're not going on a computer and reading this email. You're sending it into the system and we are printing them. We print our emails every day at 11 a.m. So if you send a camper email at 2 p.m., they're not gonna get it until the next day at lunchtime. Okay, so if you want them to get the letter day of, I would write it and get it in the system before 11, and you do that through this app. Yes. If you want them to respond to you, because they are not going on a computer and like looking at this email and emailing you back, which is I think is what some people thought in the past. It's all hand done. So we print out your email, and then if you want a response, there's a little box that you click handwritten reply. Okay, it sends them also a blank sheet of paper and they hand write you a letter and we fax it into your app and you will get it on your phone in real time. Okay, so if you have questions about that, please reach out, but that app is going to be your go-to. No care packages, please don't send any boxes, nothing like that. If you're going to do snail mail, think about the time frame. Our post office is not as quick as you might think it is, especially for Fox. Like the mail has to get to Avalon and then it has to get from Avalon into Toyon and then we have to take a boat to Toyon and pick it up from Toyon. It is a process, okay? So if you're gonna do snail mail, like literally a week in advance. If you live in California, it'll take about a week to get there. If you live outside of California, it'll take easily 10 to 14 days.
With the snail mail and care packages and all of that, two things, please, because the mail does go from Avalon to Toyon, Toyon to Fox, next to your camper's name, please write Toyon Bay or Fox Landing.
Great.
It makes it so much easier for us when we're sorting mail to make sure that it gets to the right place and doesn't get lost in the shuffle. No care packages, like Jackie said, but if your camper forgot their retainer or they forgot something like a bathing suit, I don't know, please make sure that you are reaching out to myself or Jackie, and we can try to make that happen for you if it is essentials, but no other care packages or anything of that sort.
Yeah.
We have a few odds and ends left.
Laundry. We don't do laundry in the 2 week. No laundry, okay? I will say, if there's an accident, if, something's going on, if someone starts their period, absolutely we'll do laundry. We have laundry facilities in camp. We just there's no way we can do all these kids' laundry, and we've done it in the past in town. It's just, most of the time, too, kids are like, oh, I'm fine. I don't even need laundry done. So please just pack them enough underwear for 2 weeks, okay? If things get really bad, we can throw in a little load for them. But we're going to do our best to get through 2 weeks without laundry, okay? Please help us. Help me. Help you. Help you. Help me. That would be great. 3 weeks laundry.
On the 3 week note, we do laundry. We do it only once. In the 3 weeks, it is around the middle. I still say, please make sure they have enough underwear. I still say for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it is not fun if they're wearing bathing suits as underwear or anything like that. But we do their laundry in town at a laundromat. We don't wash their towels and we don't wash their sheets. Or blankets, anything like that. So just make sure your campers know that. If they do, again, like Jackie said, really need something, their counselor is able to do that. We have laundry on the facility. But one thing about the laundry is please label every single thing, including your socks and underwear, especially for both programs, but especially for the 3 week program, because every once in a while, things get mixed up in the laundry bags and we don't know whose is whose and what's happening and all that kind of stuff. So again, also don't send your kids with like their most favorite prized possession, thrifted outfit that they'll never find ever again, because things get dirty, things get lost at camp. So just know that ahead of time. Tell your campers that ahead of time so they know that. We already kind of touched on it, but carnival and dance themes will be out soon, and social themes. And then when it comes to friend requests, this is an interesting one. We, as of right now, are both doing our housing, and so we have seen a lot of your friend requests come through, and we are trying our very, very best to make all of those happen, and we will be in contact with you if we are not able to make that happen. But another thing I want to note is if your camper has a big age range gap between someone that they're asking to be in a cabin with, we normally can't make that happen. So for the 3-week program, it is 12 and 13-year-olds are together, 14 and 15-year-olds are together, and 16 and 17-year-olds are together. So if you're asking for a bunk request that is not within those age ranges, we normally are not able to accommodate that, but I will be in contact with you, and Jackie will be in contact with you if that is the case.
Yeah. Sweet. I think that's most of it. These are our numbers and things. You can find all of our information online. I am Jackie. I'm your 2-week Sea Camp director at Fox Landing.
Yes, and I am Sydney, and I am the 3-week director at Toyon. And we're going to answer some of your big questions that were asked in the chat.
All right, so this will be my niece's first time going somewhere by herself. She's really shy. I'm just a little worried, but I know she would have fun. How can I still check on her with the 3-week program?
Yeah, that's a really great question. First off, I will say we do as much as humanly possible in the first 24, 48 hours to make sure that they are put in situations where they are organically able to make friends. We're putting them in good cabin groups, all of those types of things. But when it comes to being able to check in on her, please use those bunk replies. Please use those bunk notes. Send her some encouraging messages, and she, if you click that box, will be able to respond to you throughout the 3-week program.
Yeah. The next one is, did we get an email explaining why the 2-week was reduced in days? Good question. No, you didn't get an email explaining that. It was reduced from Saturday to Sunday. So we used to pick up kids on Saturday. Now we're picking them up on Sunday. And to be completely transparent with you, we need to give our staff just a little bit extra time. It is a lot of work. We love running summer camps. It's the best thing in the world. And in order for our staff to be 100% with your kiddos, they need to be able to sleep and recoup. And before the 2-week program, we would have run 3 1-week programs, which are very they are fast paced. We got 8, 9-year-olds. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's amazing. Don't get me wrong. But we just really wanted to give our staff that extra day.
Yeah.
How would we be able to find out how our kids are doing for that month?
That is a great question. I'm assuming it's for the 3-week program. So again, just like I mentioned before, please feel free to check in on them, whether it's through snail mail or bunk notes. But if you're really concerned and you want to know how your kid is doing, like we said, please reach out to us. We're here.
Literally call the office and we'll pick up.
Either one of us or our leadership team will go out and find your child and talk to them and be like, how are they? How are you doing? Your mom asked me today, how are you doing? Or maybe not, but we'll let you know how they are. How can you ensure that, or can you ensure that there are vegan and 100% plant-based options?
So we definitely have vegan and 100% plant-based options. A lot? No. A few? Yeah. We do definitely have them, okay? It's not going to be an entire spread. If we're having hamburger day, there will be a 100% plant-based burger that those kids can take. We always have vegan chicken nuggets. At least at Fox, we have vegan chicken nuggets every lunch and every dinner because for some of those kids, that just really helps them out. If it's a hot dog day, we will always have a 100% plant-based hot dog or a vegan option. Especially if they are really strict, if there's a camper that's gluten-free and vegan, for example, we need to know that. And then we tell the kitchen, and they will make a plate specifically for that kid.
Yeah.
every single meal, and they'll set it aside. And there's a little space for the kid to go, and they'll say, "Hey, it's me," and they'll get to know them very, very well, and they'll hand them their plate of food. So it just needs to be documented in their files so that we can communicate that to the kitchen. But every single meal, there is something that is vegan, vegetarian, plant-based. Even if we only have like one vegetarian in camp or vegan in camp, which never happens, there's always like at least 10.
And staff members.
Oh, a ton of staff. I mean,
members.
all of the staff, I would say, prefer the plant-based food.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an option. It's definitely an option. For the 2-week program, I do say if your camper has some serious dietary restrictions and needs, and they have like a favorite snack, or if there's like something that helps them, if you bring a bag of their stuff, we will keep it in staff dining. And if they're like, I'm not liking anything on this line, can you go get me my thing in the bag that my mom sent? We'll do that. Okay.
We will do that as well for the 3-week program. So just make sure you're talking to us, and we will work with you. We have another question of, do you have any ways to honor a camper's birthday? Our daughter's birthday is on drop-off day, and she is a bit sad to leave on her birthday. Do we celebrate birthdays?
I love it.
100% we celebrate birthdays. Some really fun things, I don't know if they're completely the same at both facilities, but some really fun things we do is we shout them out at every meal. They get to eat their meals first on their birthday. They get sang to and lifted up in a chair in front of the rest of camp by our staff. A lot of times counselors make them birthday crowns, and they walk around, and everyone in camp knows that it is their birthday and they are celebrating.
If you put in your camper experience form, if you write in the camper experience form comments, I've seen this be done.
Yes.
This is my camper, this is their birthday. These are some ideas I have. An idea I have right now that I would tell you to say is to get them up early. The counselor can get the kids up early and go do like a hot chocolate sunrise watch.
Yeah.
On her birthday. That is like something, like things like that, which honestly the counselor, if they're good, which they will be because we're training them,
100%.
They will already come up with that and do something like that. Like they always come up with creative, fun, different things to do to help celebrate and make that camper feel special.
And our kitchen also for dinner, for dessert, makes them some sort of special dessert for them.
Yeah, there's awesome.
And their cabin. So they'll have some sort of birthday extravaganza with us. Do not worry, even if it is drop-off day.
Yeah. But also kind of on the note of birthdays, if your camper has a birthday in camp, maybe talk to them about it, because there's been kids who they've had a birthday in camp and they don't want the attention. I will tell you,
like their birthday being celebrated.
We go hard, okay, on the birthdays. And some kids are like, I don't want my name being shouted out at every meal. Yeah. I don't want to be chaired in a big fancy chair in front of the entire camp. I don't want any of it. I just want to celebrate on my own with my cabin.
Yeah.
Like maybe figure that out and then let us know in the camper experience form.
Or have them let their counselor know.
Advocate.
Advocate for themselves. Either way, we will respect that. But if they want to be celebrated, we got you.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Any other questions?
Last one. Can I bring my own tackle box or fishing?
Tackle box or fishing. I'm assuming you're coming to the 2-week program, and you've seen our activity guide, and we have an advanced fishing class. I've never had anyone bring a tackle box. You don't need to, because we have all of that in camp. If you have a pole, like if you have a fishing pole that you really like to use, oh my gosh, for sure, bring your fishing pole. But I don't think you need to bring a tackle box. Because the other thing is, if you have like a bunch of really cool stuff, everyone in your class is going to want to use it, and I don't know if that's a good idea. So let's avoid the tackle box. You see how I'm thinking about this out loud as if you're talking to me right now? Let's avoid the tackle box. Bring the cool fishing pole. We will have all the gear that you need. And then, maybe just brag to everyone in the class about how cool your tackle box is at home. Okay? Does that sound good? Any other questions, Crystal?
That's it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. That was a lot of talking on our end, but we hope that you're feeling a little bit more ready. If you need anything, seriously, this is all we're doing right now is preparing for this. So call us, email us. We're here for you. Crystal's here for you. And we are very excited to see you guys.
See you very, very soon. Thank you so much.